So the good news, this particular Marriott property, nice mural on the wall. I've never seen this one. The bad news is none of those ugly vases in ugly green and ugly orange that I normally find in their rooms. So, I think that's an improvement. Okay, listen, two complimentary plays, both coming in baseball today. I've got to tell you guys, yesterday, I loaded my site and there was a game that I absolutely loved. And of course, it was not the Spurs Warriors game number 2. It was the Astros on the run line, and it was an easy winner as the Astros rolled on the road at the Florida Miami Marlins as they won 12-2. And it was a game that I absolutely loved. As I said, it was one of those games as I was looking at the board yesterday, that little voice was screaming in my ear, bet me, bet me, bet me. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm one of these guys, the minute I put it on the site, believe me, I hit the publish button and then I'm immediately placing my bet. I am not one of these guys that is waiting to get down my bet 7 hours later. What you see is what I'm betting. That is how it goes. But then it came time to put the free play on. And if you happen to look, yesterday I didn't have a video report, but still, if you happen to be watching the video here on the website, the free play that I wrote is right here underneath the video. And at first I'm writing the free play and I wasn't really that enthused with the selection. And then I started to analyze the game a little further. And then I started to write the play. And at first I didn't know what direction I was going to go. And I even wrote that initially I thought maybe taking Golden State in the first half was the way to go. And at first, to be honest with you, I thought maybe playing the over was the way to go. But then I got to a particular line in my analysis, which is still there. And I said that in reference to how the Spurs played in game number 6 at Houston without Leonard, who was expected to miss and ultimately did miss last night's game, that the Warriors are not the Rockets. And then I thought about it. And I thought, hey, the Spurs collapsed without Leonard once he went down in game number 1. And Leonard was most likely not going to play in game number 2. And the Warriors basically, whether they were rusty from the layoff or they were sleepwalking through the first half or the first 3 quarters almost, until the final 20 minutes of game number 1, the Warriors simply didn't show up. And even though they had screwed me a number of times as a double-digit chalk, and even though they had been a tremendous disappointment during the regular season, going 17-16-1, laying double digits, and during the postseason going 1-4 as a double-digit chalk, and then failing in game number 1, practically almost losing that game, let alone not even coming close to covering, laying double digits, it dawned on me, there was no way they were not going to cover last night's game. And there was no way San Antonio was going to be able to compete. And then I'm starting to write the free pick yesterday. I'm thinking, my God, Golden State was the lock of all locks yesterday. But of course, I had already published my best bet, which was Houston on the run line. And once you publish it on the site, you're committed. So I wrote the free play yesterday, and as you know, I've been red hot with not only my best bets in the NBA playoffs, but also with the complimentary plays as well. And I hope you took it with more than a grain of salt, because as you could see, I put a lot into it, and I hope it certainly swayed your opinion one way or another, whether you had one of the handicappers' choices here at the site or not, because again, if you look at my complimentary plays over the long run, I do exceptionally well with them. I often joke that they are the best of the worst, meaning that every single day I handicap a slew of games and then I narrow down the card. And then there's the game that I bet, the game that I release to the customers. And then there's the best of the worst. And among the best of the worst, those are the complimentary plays that for one reason or another, they're slightly flawed. And those are the complimentary plays. But again, I had narrowed down the card. Those were among the games that I thought that were personally among the best. So naturally, they should do well over the long term, and they have. But my God, that was one of those games last night, as you saw, that they don't come along too often. But thankfully, the Warriors finally covered a double-digit spread. But Leonard's expected to be back in game number 3. San Antonio returns home, so I don't think the series is over, meaning that the Spurs could cover game number 3. The series is over from a perspective of Golden State's obviously going to win. By the way, I just want to clarify something I said a couple of days ago in regards to the Eastern Conference Finals, when I said that LeBron was probably sitting back in his rocking chair hoping that after game number 1 that the Spurs and the Warriors, he was absolutely thrilled Let the Spurs and Rockets series go for as long as possible. Let the Warriors exhaust themselves after they had to in that Game 1 comeback effort, because you can't wait to see them expel as much energy as possible. And some of you may have thought, what, did Al forget that the Cavaliers had to play the Eastern Conference Finals? No, I didn't forget. But if you think the Cavaliers are going to lose in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Celtics, you're crazy. Now, whether they can cover game number 1 tonight and the games as they go, that's a different story, but they're not going to lose this best-of-7 series. That ain't going to happen. Okay, let's get to your complimentary plays. First of all, I'm going to go with the Cubs on the run line tonight at home at Wrigley against Cincinnati Reds, plus 105. They won the opener behind John Lackey last night. The offense came to play with 4 homers, going with Kyle Hendricks, who started the season slow, to say the least. First 3 starts, a 6.19 earned run average, 6.19, I should say, 1.52 earned run average in his last 3 starts, but been victimized by a lack of support. Scott Feldman, a one-time Cub, going for Cincinnati. The team is 1-5 in his last 6 starts. I'm going to go with the Cubbies, who won yesterday's game 9-5 as they returned home after a disappointing 2-4 road trip. And of course, in their last 3 home games prior to that road trip, they were swept by the Yankees. I like the Cubbies to win tonight on the run line. I'm also going with Detroit on the run line as a $1.35 dog tonight against Baltimore. Of course, the Orioles won last night in extra innings, 13-11. But I like the pitching matchup here that favors the Tigers, going with the Rookie of the Year in the junior circuit last year, Michael Fulmer, who is starting at home. He has a 2.54 earned run average in 7 starts this season. His last start against the Angels, a nice one. 3 hits, 7 strikeouts, and 7 shutout innings. In 7 starts this season, he's worked 46 innings. He's only given up 33 hits. He struck out 46. Excellent control. 13 walks, only 4 homers allowed in those 46 innings. At the other end of the spectrum, you have Ubaldo Jimenez going for the Orioles. This will be his 7th start. He has made 7 outings overall this season, 1 relief appearance in 33 2/3 innings. He's allowed 51 base runners. This is a typical example of a guy who one time in his career was a power pitcher, but he doesn't have that oomph anymore, only 24 strikeouts in 33 innings. And consequently, when you have 51 base runners in 33-plus innings, you have an earned run average of 6.15, which is why this 33-year-old right-hander is just barely holding on to his rotation spot. He has never fared well against the Tigers in his career, 6-11 record, 5.49 earned run average in 21 starts. At Comerica Park in Detroit, he has also struggled with a 3-8 record and an earned run average of 6.83. In the heart of the Tigers lineup, Cabrera, a 4.48 on-base percentage against Jimenez in his career. Victor Martinez, who just returned from the disabled list to join Cabrera in the batting order in the cleanup spot for Detroit. Lifetime against him, 4 homers and 12 ribbies in just 34 at-bats. So I'm going to take a shot with Detroit. With the superior pitching matchup. And, of course, the Bats last night had the offense but didn't have the pitching, but they have the pitching tonight. And I think the Tigers, plus $1.35 on the run line, up to 2 plays. I like the Tigers on the run line more, just a little bit, than the Cubbies. So those are your 2 free selections. I wish you well, guys. I'll talk to you again tomorrow when we do this one more time. Good luck, everybody.